welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Brooke if you're new here, and today we're going to be doing my end of year book tag. I've been seeing this a lot over on BookTube, and there's like different questions, and then I'll put the questions like up on the screen. I've seen like so many other people do this, but yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, grab a drink, grab a snack, and grab a piece of paper so you can write down my book racks that I read this year. Okay, so starting off, the first question is, what was my best recommendation that I got this year? And this is going to be, I have like the books I'm going to show you guys, but this book was being used also for another question. So the best book recommendation I got this year was probably to read the Throne of Glass series. That was like my big project series this year. The books are so long, took me a while to read. There's 8 books. And I loved every second of it. I was very skeptical when I started off reading it. I was like, I'm not understanding the hype, but then I got the hype, okay? So I would definitely recommend you guys to read Throne of Glass in 2026 if you've never read it. Loved it. I've never read Sarah J. Maas before, haven't read Akatar yet. Probably the only person that hasn't, but I loved Throne of Glass a lot. So yeah, if you love fantasy, if you love YA, definitely love that one. Okay, and the next up is, what was my most disappointing read of the year? And that would be Scarred by Emily, I don't know how to say her last name, like McIntyre or something. I don't have the physical copy anymore. But basically, that book comes from the series, the Never After series, and I read the first book, which is Hooked, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought like Scarred would also be good, but then like it was kind of like a disappointment, and I didn't really enjoy it as much as I liked Hooked. So next up we have an underdog book, which now I'm going to be showing you books. And that would actually be Hooked. I don't really know what is like defined as an underdog book, if that means like book that like is like unpopular, you never really see. So I just went with this because I don't really see a lot of people recommend this book anymore. And I actually loved it way more than I thought I would. It's a fairy tale retelling. It's based on Peter Pan and Captain Hook, and it's a dark romance, so check the trigger warnings. But I loved it way more than I thought I would. It was definitely like entertaining and a good like cleanser book, like in between when I was reading my Throne of Glass books. So I would definitely recommend if you like dark romance and if you like Disney. And then next up is a book that was overhyped that actually surprised me. I don't really know if this is considered overhyped because I saw a lot of people being like, I don't know if I want to read this, but that would be Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I read Better Like the Movies this year also. It's like a high school romance, and it's a YA. This is also YA. But it just felt like too young for me, so like I feel like if I read it when I was younger, I would have enjoyed it now, like more, because I'm 20. But this book, they were in college, and I just really like the topics in it. There's like kind of heavier topics because Wes's father passed away. But I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more, and I guess it's like kind of overhyped because I know Better Than the Movies is overhyped. But I loved this one a lot, and I feel like a lot of people don't like it. That's why it like surprised me that I liked it, but yeah. Okay, and then we have my favorite couple. Now, listen, I reread this series this year because I read it for the first time in 2020, and I thought that it was time, and it's like one of my all-time favorite series. So technically this is a reread, but I obviously had to pick Pip and Ravi. I'm sorry. They're like my favorites ever. Love them both. Love this whole series. Would definitely recommend if you have not read it. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Okay, and then my favorite main character, the only one that really stood out to me was Aelin from Throne of Glass. If you know, you know. She is the most amazing character, the most badass character in like a fantasy series. She was just everything. I loved her so much. The trauma that she endured, just like, I feel like she was a very good written main character. So okay, and then a new favorite author. Oh, I was like, I didn't have a book for that I'm also putting Sarah J. Maas for that, because I loved Throne of Glass, really want to read Akatar and Crescent City, so I feel like I would consider her a new favorite author. Next, we have an author that didn't work out. That would be Misty Wilson. I read this book. This is the only book I read by her, Falling Like Leaves. I just felt like it was like super cringe. Like, do you know, like, whenever you read books and they mention like, oh, TikTok, like how like cringe that is? Like, this book meant just like social media and stuff like that, and I just don't like that in books. And it was just like very, very YA, like too YA for me. So like, if I was younger, once again, I feel like I would like it more. So I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of her books, but look at the edges, they're so pretty. But it was a cutesy little fall read, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of her books, so. Okay, and then next up is the happiest book I read this year. I feel like that would be Summer in the City by Alex Astor. This is like a super cute summer romance. I know a lot of people say bad things about this book, and I don't know why. I like actually really enjoyed it. Also, look at the edges, they're so pretty. I feel like this is the most perfect book for summertime, and I just loved it, and it just gave like very happy like New York vibes. Like, I loved it. Okay, and then next, the saddest book I read this year. Well, technically, Kingdom of Ash was probably also a very sad book that I read this year, but I was using it for something else, so I decided to pick like another book. Probably They Both Die at the End. The title is very self-explanatory. But let me tell you, this book hits hard, okay? You fall in love with these characters and their relationship with each other, and like the whole like worlds that they live in, like how like you get like a call that says like you're dying today. Like, that whole concept is just insane to me and very like depressing. So yeah, if you want a good cry, if you want a good sad book, I would definitely recommend. But I know a lot of people say bad things about this book, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's also like an LGBTQ book. There's like a gay couple, which is like the main couple. So that's another thing if you like those kind of books. And then the most frustrating book, which I think a lot of people will agree with me. So I did the Advent Calendar book. Like, it's like a book where you like open a chapter a day. It's a Heart for Christmas. I think everybody has complained about this book. The concept was very cute with like the opening different chapters, but this book was so YA and cringe. Like, the main characters were insufferable. They didn't really have a lot of chemistry. It was like cute, and like it like was kind of relatable of how like getting into a relationship was like when like you were younger. But I feel like they should have made the characters younger, like if they're, because I just pretended they were like 16 because they were actually 19. But if they were like 16, like it would have made more sense. So I just like pretended that it wasn't in my head. But yeah, I would not recommend doing an Advent Calendar book. There's another one that I've seen around that looks better than this one, but I know like literally everyone that has done the Advent Calendar book this year did not like it that I've seen, so I wouldn't waste your money on it. Okay, and then next up is a book with the best book adaptation. Okay, I've not went to go see the movie yet, and I really want to, but I've heard good things, and I read this year, The Housemaid. Love this book, love the whole series. Everyone says bad stuff about the other two books, The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid's Watching. I loved both of those more than this one, actually. The Housemaid's Secret was my favorite one. But yeah, Frida McFadden is probably going to be a new author for me. She's like getting me like back into thriller books because I feel like I haven't read a lot of thriller in a long time. I've been reading a lot of like last year I know I read a lot of romance, and this year I feel like I also read a lot of romance because I was reading Throne of Glass along with that, and that's like the only fantasy that I really read this year. But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. It's definitely like a good like cleanser book. It took me like 2 days to read this book. So like if you need something quick and easy to read, especially if you need to finish like your reading goal, then I would recommend her books. Next up is favorite cover. That would have to be Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I love this book. This book is also very sad. I just love like how it's like the brain and everything, and like the inside is so cool too. And actually there's something like on the hardback cover. I love when books actually have like stuff like on the hardback cover, and I like that it's red and it's like smooth, which I think is really cool. But yeah, also another book that if you want a good cry, but also it's like a mystery book, I would definitely recommend. You'll get attached to these characters, and even though you know that she is going to die at the end, you'll still get, like, very attached and be like, oh, like, I love her so much, and, like, yeah. This book is just, like, a very interesting concept. I love Holly Jackson. She's literally the best. Also, this is marketed as an adult, thriller, but, like, there really isn't any, like, adult content, like, spice or anything like that. So if, like, you know someone younger that wants to read this, then they definitely can, because it's not really adult. I think it just has, like, more, like, swearing in it than her, like, other books. So, okay, next up was a book I haven't stopped thinking about. Obviously, this big bad boy right here, Kingdom of Ash. I loved this book. Okay, I was so scared to read it because of how long it is. I thought it was going to take me forever. No, it did not take me very long to read, because the tandem read took me a long time to read. That's why I thought this would take me a while, but just because I didn't really enjoy Tower of Dawn that much, I'm so sorry. But anyways, I loved this book with every fiber of my being. This was, like, kind of a spoiler, so if you haven't read this book, then, like, skip past it. But I seriously thought, like, basically, like, everyone was going to die, and that's why, like, everyone was, like, sobbing during this book. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that, like, not, like, only what's his face dies, Edion's dad, whatever his name is. What can I remember? Gabriel, is that his name? I think that's his name. Yeah, or I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. I know this series looks so intimidating, but trust. I am going to be thinking about this book for a very, very, very long time. It also has, like, a connection to ACOTAR in it that I've learned, but like I said, I haven't read ACOTAR yet, so, like, maybe, like, after I read ACOTAR, I'll come back to that part of the book to, like, reread it and be like, oh, so yeah, love. Okay, an unpopular book that I read this year that I liked, Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I wouldn't say I, like, loved this book, but I just didn't really, like, have anything else to pick, because I didn't really have any, like, other unpopular books that I really loved that I read this year. But this one was, like, the best, the one that I rated, like, the best. And yeah, I know it's Colleen Hoover. I'm sorry, guys. I've had this book for, like, 3 years, and I finally decided to read it. But I was surprised by it. It's, like, a dark romance, which I did not expect. It also says it's a psychological suspense novel, and I do not think it's really a suspense novel. I don't know why it says that on the back, to be honest. Because I thought it was going to be more of, like, a mystery-type book, but it's really not. It's, like, it's a dark romance, so I would definitely check trigger warnings on it. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this book. So that would be The Stolen Air by Holly Black. I loved the what's it called, the Folk of the Air series, so I thought I would really like this one. I'm still debating on if I should read the second book or not, so let me know down in the comments. I just, like, honestly couldn't wait for this book to be over. I thought it was, like, kind of boring compared to, like, The Cruel Prince, but I also thought that about the first book. But I love the other two Cruel Prince books, so maybe I'll read the second book. Maybe in, like, January, maybe, I don't know. I thought I would love, but I didn't, and that was A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. It's, like, this book is, like, super interesting. Also, I love this cover, by the way. It's, like, this book, she basically, like, steps inside the world of a book, which I think is, like, super interesting. It just, like, really wasn't my favorite. Like, I didn't really connect with the characters as much as I thought I would, so that's why it, like, wasn't really my favorite, but, like, the concept was very interesting. Everyone says The 7-Year Slip by her is good. I have not read it. This is the only book I've read by her, so, let me know what you guys think about this author and if I should read, like, her other books. And then a book with a unique concept. A Novel Love Story also has a unique concept, but I recently just finished this, but Layla, I know, another Colleen Hoover book, but I got this one at Goodwill for, like, $1, so that's why I bought it. But this book, basically, it's about this guy and this girl, and, like, they're, like, the guy's ex, like, gets jealous that he's with another girl and, like, almost tries to kill them, and then, like, the soul of... Actually, this is kind of a spoiler. So if you haven't read the book, then skip. Or if you want to read it. But the soul of the girl that, like, killed them goes into the body of his now girlfriend. And his now girlfriend is, like, trapped in, like, the... Like, basically like between worlds, kind of. So like I thought that was like a super interesting concept. I wouldn't say it was like displayed in the best way. Maybe if it was written by like Frida McFadden or something, it'd be better, like a more like a mystery book. But yeah, it was interesting. So okay, a book I read this year that I would reread would 110% be Deepen. Look at these edges. I love this book. I won't stop thinking about it. I know this is like super controversial and like a lot of people didn't like this book, but I loved Scarlett and Lucas. Loved them. Also, I've never read a book that was about like diving, like slash swimming. And I know a lot of people, like, I know like sports romances are like super popular, but I feel like most of them are about like hockey and basketball. But this one was about diving, and I loved that. It was like unique in that aspect. But she did say, like, in this book that it would be more, like, kinky than her other books, but I don't think this book was, like, that kinky, like, The Spice. I loved every second of this book. I, like, already want to reread this book, because I read it, like, at the beginning of the year, and I, like, miss it. So I'm probably going to reread this book at, like, some point. Probably not next year, but, like, maybe the year after that. But I loved. Okay, a priority read for next year. My big, like, project priority next year is going to be the Shatter Me series, because I know everyone raves about Aaron Warner, and I want to know the hype, okay? This series is, like, super long, though, but I don't know if it's going to take me as long to read as Throne of Glass, because I know, like, a lot of the books are, like, novellas, so it's, like, technically not as long as you would think, and the books are a lot shorter, too, obviously. It's also been a long time since I read a dystopian book, so, like, I'm excited. But yeah, I always hear everybody and their brother talk about this series and this author, so definitely want to read it finally. I just don't want to read it at the same time as reading Throne of Glass, since it's also another super long series. So 2025 reading goal reflection, so like how I feel about it. I set my goal for 55 books. I'm currently on book 50 right now, so I'm probably not going to finish because it's like a week until like the new year, and I'm not like the fastest reader, but I'm like the slowest reader, and I also work, so like, you know, I'm probably like not going to finish it. But I set it like a little bit higher because I ended up going over my goal last year, which was 40, and I ended up reading like 45 books, I think. So I like thought better of myself. So that's like kind of my reflection. I definitely could have done better, but I feel like the Throne of Glass series like put me like kind of behind because it takes me longer to read fantasy books just because of like how much content there is in them and like the world building. So if I just like read like romance books all year long, like obviously I would probably have hit my goal. But I love fantasy books. It just takes me like a long time to read them for that reason. So yeah. Maybe just, like, get better at, like, reading fantasy books faster? I don't know. And then my 2026 goal, I have not decided when I want to set it at yet. I'm still trying to see if maybe there's some possible way I can hit my reading goal this year. But I'm thinking maybe, like, 52. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to set it at. And then a book I wish I got to this year would be Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I don't like to read books unless it's complete. You guys know that. And this series completed this year, like back in like April. I just wanted to finish Throne of Glass before I started another fantasy series. But I ended up finishing Throne of Glass at the beginning of November, and like I didn't feel like reading like a super heavy like fantasy book then because I was like super stressed out. Like that's when like school starts to get like really stressful, like before the end of the semester. I still might read it if I'm finished the book I'm reading now, which is one of the books I just got for Christmas. So we'll see. But I always hear everyone talking about this and I have such FOMO, so I'm definitely going to read it probably in January if I don't get to it before the end of the year. And then what I want to prioritize in 2026, I don't really remember what that question is supposed to be, but I guess, like, just to, like, read more and, like, put my phone down. I feel like I spend, I spend way too much time on my phone. Like, I wish I could just put my phone down and, like, read a book a day. Like, I really just wish I could do that. Because over the summer when I should be reading more, I tend to read less books unless it's July, because whenever I go to the beach, I always read so many books. July is usually, like, my most, like, the month I read the most books in, because when I go to the beach I read like 3 books, because I just like sitting by the beach and reading. And like I don't really like to be on my phone like whenever I go on vacation, because like it's kind of like a break from that and a break from like the real world, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't tend to be on my phone a lot, and I wish I could just like do that all the time, because I feel like I spend way too much time on my phone and like I'm wasting life away. It's just really hard. And like also with like school, like whenever I have school, like this past semester was like really freaking hard. I'm not excited to go back in January. I go back on the 12th, and it's the 26th of December right now, so I still got a little bit yet. But I just, like, school stresses me out so bad that I just get so tired after the school day's over and come home and lay in my bed and scroll on my phone and take a nap instead of reading, when I should be reading instead. But, like, my brain is just tired. Like, I just feel like I just need to get better at that. And then book content that I want to do in 2026, I'm currently making a book board game. I'll show you guys. I got the inspiration from like a TikTok. It's basically like a new way of like picking my TBR, because you guys know I like do the TBR cards every year, and I thought this one, or every month I mean, and I thought this would be more fun, and then I can like have this forever as like a fun little keepsake. And yeah, so that is all. Sorry, I knew I had a cough, but it just didn't come out yet. That is all for my 2025 end of the year book reading wrap up. I'm probably still gonna read some more books that will obviously not make it in this video. But yeah, be sure to go follow my TikTok, because I obviously post a lot of book content on there, and I post like my Christmas hauls. Because you guys know I usually do my Christmas haul on here, but like I feel like more people will see it on TikTok, because like I don't really get a lot of views on YouTube, but I still like posting on YouTube. It's super fun. But you know, YouTube is just harder to grow on. But yeah, and my Instagram is still deleted. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to make a new bookstagram or not. But yeah, I have TikTok. It's at Brooke Loves Books with 2 S's, I think, and an underscore. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.